Hey Ken, you know it's better than shooting a video once?
What?
Shooting a video twice.
Kind of like 2 North Carolinas?
I have no idea what you're talking about. Hi, and welcome to Crafts by Two. I'm George.
And I'm Ken.
And today we show you how to make this great shadow box with the United States in the shape of a heart.
Why don't you show them the whole thing?
Ooh, pretty.
With reflections.
So we have America the Beautiful up here, and over here. Our names down here. And we popped up each one of the states where we have family members living. But they can't see me, Ken.
And?
So we made this on the Cricut. And it's from a Close to My Heart cartridge, a digital cartridge called Hello USA. If you have that cartridge, then you can have this file for free. And you can make one of these too, to show where your family is.
Or states you visited, or...
Really, anything.
Yeah, anything you want to track.
States you won lotto in? I can dream, Ken.
And it's the 50 states plus...
Washington, D.C. and Puerto Rico.
So you'll be able to list all of those.
So we have the background with the states cut out in the shape of a heart. Then we have each of the individual states. And then we have little hearts. And they all came from the Close to My Heart cartridge, Hello USA.
So we'll have the Cricut Design Space project linked on our website.
Yep.
And as long as you have the digital images, you can make this project.
If you don't have the digital images and you try to open this file, it won't let you. It'll tell you that there's images that you don't have access to. But if you don't have access to them, we're hosting a Close to Our Heart party.
Close to My Heart?
No, Close to Our Heart, together.
But that's not the company.
Well, they're still close to our heart. We're having a party with our close friend and consultant, Deb Killian, and she has a special offer for everybody. If you order the Hello USA digital cartridge from our party, on your next purchase of $50 or more, you're going to get $5 off.
Oh, that's cool.
And that's a special that we're running just with her.
Cool.
If you already have this cartridge, but you'd still like to place an order, if you place a $50 order, she'll still give you $5 off your next order. Now, there's some limitations to this offer. You have to use the $5 off sometime in 2018.
So, can they get this right from Design Space? Like, if they don't own it?
No, the only place to get it is Close to My Heart.
Okay. Are there any other images?
There are. There are many multi-layered images for each state. I just used the one base image.
Seems pretty cool and versatile.
And there's the United States flag and the Puerto Rican flag. Did I mention the states? Each state, I believe, has the name of the flower and a picture of the flower on it. It has a striped overlay to each state. They're very cool. You could even take this background and cut it out of vinyl and iron it on a t-shirt. Then you could have a United States heart t-shirt.
Or you could take it and flip it and put it on the side of your camper. And track all the states you visited on your camera.
Yes, that would be so cool. I'm going to show you how to finish the design in Design Space. Then I'm going to throw it over to Ken, and Ken's going to show you how to put it together.
And in case you were wondering, yes, there are very small pieces with the heart and the foam popping it up.
It's a cut I designed. Of course, there's small pieces. Why is this a question?
In both of our videos, with George showing you in Design Space and me putting it together, we both give some tips on how you can be a little more successful on working with this.
And here's a hint. stick around for the end because there's some great bloopers.
Yeah, it was great.
So I wanted to take just a minute to show you what the project looks like in Design Space. So here's the heart that will be cut out of your background paper, and you could put something underneath it, like I think I'm going to have Ken use a blue glitter paper underneath it. And you see this dotted line around it, that's a score line. That's because we want to use a full 12 by 12 sheet of paper. So the Cricut can't cut a 12 by 12 sheet of paper, it can only cut 11.5 by 11.5. So what I did is I made a square 11.5 by 11.5, centered the heart in it, and then made the square a score line, and then attached the heart and the square together. So when you go to cut this on your Cricut, don't put the score tool in because you really don't want to score it. You want to use the whole 12 by 12 piece of paper. There's another thing that's in this that you can't readily see here, and let me just jump to another page. There's a heart with all the states that are individual. So instead of having to go through here and hide the states you don't want, what I did with the file that we're sharing is I've already hidden all the states. You just have to come through and unhide the states that you want and then cut them out. So let's say that you wanted, I don't know, North Carolina, New York, Virginia, Kansas is here, Colorado, Georgia, Florida, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm forgetting somebody. I don't remember who. Ken will remember and he'll cut it out. So you select all the states that you want to cut, and then the heart, you want to duplicate the heart for as many states. Now I know that we have 8 states that we have to cut out. I just can't remember what the 8th one is. So I'm just going to duplicate the heart 7 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Over duplicated. And then I'm going to send this to the mat. Remember, the Cricut will tell you to insert the scoring stylus, but you don't have to insert it because we don't want to score it. In this America the Beautiful, if you want it, you can keep it, or you can move it around wherever you want it. Like Ken likes it up here, so you have to shrink it down a little bit. And then you could put something like your family name. Like I could do Schneider and Kindler. Why don't we do that real quick? So I'm going to do, Schneider and Kindler. And I want that centered. And one of my favorite fonts lately is King Basil. It's kind of scripty. So Design Space doesn't put the letters the right spacing from each other, so we're going to change the letter spacing so all the letters touch. There, that looks good. And there's kind of a lot of space in between, so we're going to change the line spacing and take it down some, so there's not so much of a space in between. There, I think that looks good. Then we're going to ungroup to letters. I'm going to select all the letters, and I'm going to weld them all together. That way they'll all cut. I'm going to resize it, and we can put it in this corner. What you can also do is come over to the color sync and drag this so that and America the Beautiful are the same color. Now all you do is send it to your Cricut. Why don't we do that, and I'll throw it over to Ken and he'll show you how to put it together in a box frame.
Hi everybody, I've got everything laid out and ready to go. I've already cut the states, or I should say George already cut out the heart with the states for me. And we got a blue piece of glitter paper to use as the background, and our frame is ready to go. This frame has little extra spacers, so I have the glass face down with one spacer in, and we've decided to do one spacer in the front and two in the back because that gives it enough of the dimension we're going for. And I want to give a few tips before I start, because this is the second run through of this project, and between the first and the second there's a few little tips. One is I've already gone ahead and weeded the adhesive foil we're going to be using with this, and I've already pulled it off the backing onto the transfer paper. This is just because it's a real pain to transfer this off the backing onto the transfer paper. It's really fidgety. You can see this is kind of warped because I was rolling it, trying to get all the items to come off appropriately. And one tip related to this is last night, the items we had cut like the day before and let them sit for a while. And this I cut, weeded, and pulled off the transfer paper almost all at once. And it was a lot easier doing it today than it was after it had sat for a while. So I don't know if it's adhering to the background more, or when we burnished it down onto the transfer tape that it was just making a stronger bond, but it was just much easier when I did it all at once today. The second little tip is for the hearts. We're popping up the hearts with some foam tape, and they need really small pieces for that. So what I ended up doing previously, when I did the first run of the project, I was cutting off little strips or little squares with my duck scissors because they won't stick, but then all those little pieces were flying across the desk and around the room and sticking to my clothes. So what I did this time was I cut a little strip, and this is some of the backing from the transfer tape, so it's nice waxy, and I cut off little pieces of the foam tape strip with my pen blade, and then I was able to just kind of pop them over with my fingertip and poke it down with the pen blade to have it stick to this background temporarily. Then I use my little crystal katana because it's got the little wax tip, which makes it easy to pick up pieces, and I set all the hearts onto their own little square ahead of time. So this is all ready to go, because in the first run it was taking me forever and I didn't want to bore you laying out all these little hearts for the project. And then lastly, we have all the state pieces that we're going to pop out. So where us and our immediate family is, there's New York, Florida, North Carolina, Georgia, Kansas, and Colorado, and Virginia. So I'm just going to move some stuff out of the way. And the first thing I want to do is set this down onto our backing. And the first run, George had cut this piece out, so you had to line it up to make sure none of the background got exposed. But this time, he shows you how to cut just the heart out of the 12x12 paper, so you don't have to worry about any of that bleeding through when you've got it in the frame and the spacers. So I'm just using regular ATG and laying out. Now, in our case, we're going to have the frame pushing down on it, the spacer, so I'm doing just kind of a very light section. It doesn't really have to hold down too much. Just don't want it to warp. There we go, and smooth it down. Just do it from the back so I'm not leaving any marks across the nice white paper. So there's that. Got some stray glitter. So now we have our adhesive foil pieces, and George sized this to go up here. At least I think he did. I wanted it to go up here. Maybe it's better lined up, because I'm afraid at an angle it might get covered by the frame. And then down here on the bottom we have our names. So Schneider and Kindler. So I think that came out well with the glitter and the foil, bringing a lot of character to that. Now we can hop over to our states. And for these, I've got foam tape again and our handy Fiskars duck scissors that aren't going to stick as much, which make cutting adhesive a lot easier. Peel off your backings and then pop it up on the map. Just bring this over so I can eyeball things a little bit better. To make sure I line this up as best as possible to not let too much of the blue seep through. So there you go. That gives it a little bit of a pop. It's hard to see there, but it makes it stand out. So now we can move on to the others. So Colorado's easy. So New York is for George and I and my one niece. Almost all of our immediate family has moved away from New York, though almost all of us originated here. Colorado's where one of his nephews, George's nephews, is living, has been for a number of years. And Kansas, that's where one of his sisters moved, and a number of her children are living there. And it's like a puzzle trying to figure out where everything is. And then Georgia is where one of my nieces is relocated and has been living. So I wonder if there's people out there who would do this project and fill up far more states than we do for their immediate family. We're not doing all the extended aunts and uncles and cousins and everything as far as we're doing this project, but you're welcome to do whatever you like with it. Oops, this might be too long. a little bit too long. That's what I meant before by all the foam shooting all over the place when you cut it. But that's what craft room floors are for. And North Carolina has some of George's relatives, and his niece Becky and her family just moved there. And Virginia is where the majority of my family has relocated to. It just happened that my one sister moved there with her husband to be by his relatives right before my father moved there to follow his job, and my mother chose to stay there. And then my other sister moved there to join her. Whoops. There's an extra heart that I was looking for earlier. And this is still a little too big. And then Florida is where George's other sister has relocated just recently. So you want to just remember, like, I didn't put too much support on Florida there, so you just want to remember where you put your foam tape when you're pushing it down so you don't accidentally bend or warp the material. And now I have the hearts. And this one was overlapping a little, so I'm just shifting to make sure you can't see any of the foam peek out around it. This might be too big of a little square, so I'm gonna pop this on this one down here. So let that sit for a minute. So now we can take these and pop the little hearts on as we can. Kind of where our family is. So there's our layout all finished. Just want to give it a little dusting because some of the glitter got onto the project from the cuts. So before I place this into the frame, just want to make sure that it's all cleared up. There's no extra strays. Just be careful, pulled that stayed up a little. So now I can bring the frame over. And like I said, our frame that we bought this at Michael's. They had a good sale of buy one, get one free, like before Thanksgiving. So we picked these up because we knew they're always good buys. These frames have 3 spacers in them. And like I said, we chose to do 1 spacer in front of the glass. And then we're gonna lay down the artwork and have 2 spacers behind it. So I'm just going ahead and pop this right in. Then add our 2 additional spacers. And then the backing. Making sure that my hooks are on the top where I know I put the top of the image. Pop that in and turn our tabs out. So there's the finished product. Can't wait to see what you do with your family.
So we hope you like the project, and if you don't have the cartridge Hello USA from Close to My Heart, then we hope you come to our Close to My Heart party and place your order there. Remember, you'll get $5 off your next order of $50 or more. In 2018, limit 1 per customer. I believe that's what you told me to say. Also, everyone that places an order is going to get put into a drawing that will get half the hostess credit.
Oh, wow. that could be a pretty significant amount, depending upon how many people join in.
Yep, I thought it was nice of us to share.
So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you enjoyed the video and you're not a subscriber already here on YouTube. And you can also follow us on social media. We have the link down below of a page which shows you everywhere we are on the internet. You might want to subscribe so you don't miss out, because we're heading to Creativation.
Yay! We get up at 3 o'clock in the morning tomorrow.
Yep. To take a flight to Phoenix, where we're going to be seeing all the latest in the craft industry. New releases for 2018.
And maybe we'll be doing some giveaways from there, too.
Never know. We'll see what we can get our hands on.
So, until next Tuesday, we'll talk to you guys later. Bye!
Bye. And then lastly, over here, we got all of our states. Colorado, where our families are. Sorry. That's Virginia. Florida, Kansas, Georgia, and North Carolina. Or, wait, do we have things twice? Colorado. He gave me 2 Virginias. So, we need Colorado, Kansas, I think one of these didn't get flipped right. Okay, no, sorry. But I have 2 North Carolinas. So Colorado, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Colorado, Kansas, Virginia, Florida, Georgia, North Carolina, New York. Who are we missing? Or who did we duplicate? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so he did 7. He gave me 2 North Carolinas. So we'll pull this out. Can't wait to see what you do with your phone. I don't know what I'm saying.
Our good friend and consultant, Deb Killian, is having a party with us. No, we're having a party with her.
Mm-hmm.